So next one is double tune amplifier. So this is the circuit diagram of double tune amplifier. This amplifier is a common emitter configuration. It has two tune circuits. This one tune circuit and this one is another tune circuit. L1 C1 in the collector act as a load. That is L1 C1 in the collector is act as a load. L2 C2 is the output circuit. The voltage developed across the collector circuit is inductively coupled to, that is the inductively coupled to another tune circuit. Both the tune circuit being tuned to the same frequency. So in double tune amplifier we are using more than one tune circuit. That means we have used two tune circuit. The condition is both tune circuit tuned at the same frequency. By using this inductively coupled, we have to connect the one tune circuit to another tune circuits. In the collector terminal we have a L1 C1 tank circuit which acts as a load. Okay. So the components of that circuit already we know. R1 R2 act as a potential divider providing bias to the transistor. RECE is emitter resistance collector, emitter capacitance provide the thermal stabilization. Vs is the input signal, Rs is the source resistance, L1 C1 act as a load, L2 C2 is the output circuit, high selectively achieved through this L2 C2. That is the selectivity of the circuit is very high which can be achieved by with the help of L2 and C2 component. So operation is at the input side we have to give a high frequency signal. So frequency of L1 C1 is made equal to the signal frequency. That is when we apply the input high frequency signal, which signal is made equal to by creating a tank circuit L1 C1. Under such condition, the LC circuit offers a very high impedance to the signal frequency. The output from this tune circuit is transferred to the second tune circuit L2 C2 through mutual inductions. The adjustment of the frequency is achieved by adjusting C1 C2. So both tank circuits tuned at the same frequency which can be achieved by adjusting the C1 C2 capacitor. So here we have to consider one point, that is the coupling capacitance, coupling conditions. There are three types of coupling conditions there. One is overcoupling, which is nothing but K greater than Kc. Critical coupling K equal to Kc. Undercoupling K less than Kc. Where Kc is the coupling coefficient. So this is the frequency curve for three coupling conditions. So the first graph is a condition for K greater than Kc, which is nothing but overcoupling. And this one is K less than Kc, which is the undercoupling. This one is K equal to Kc, which is the critical coupling. So overcoupled condition is preferred for the double tune amplifier. In a double tune amplifier, prefer the overcoupling because it provides a larger 3 decibel bandwidth than a single tune amplifier. So this is a single tune amplifier frequency curve. So for a double tune amplifier, it provides a larger 3 decibel bandwidth. Okay. So this is the equivalent circuit of double tune amplifier. So this is the first common emitter configuration circuit. This is second tune circuits. So after simplification, finally we get the simplified block diagram is like this. So after simplified circuit diagram, Ra value is parallel combination of R1, R2, RBE. Likewise, Ci input capacitance is Cb-E plus Cb-E into 1 plus Gm RL. Already we know that parallel resonance Rp equal to omega squared L squared by R. So in this circuit, the series and parallel resonance are combined in a series element. Okay. So in a double tune amplifier, both series and parallel resonance are combined in a series element. Okay. So in a simplified diagram, the series and parallel resonance are combined in a series connections. So let's first consider the Rp1 parallel combination, that is omega naught squared L1 squared divided by R1. Rp2 is the omega naught squared L2 plus M the whole square divided by R2. Because in a second configuration, that is a second tune circuit, we have a mutual inductance. Because with the help of the mutual inductance coupled, we have to connect the first tank circuit into another tank circuit, second tank circuit. So in a second circuit, we have to consider that the mutual inductance. So that the Rp2 we can write the omega squared into L squared plus M squared divided by R2. So similarly in series sum, Rs1 equal to omega naught squared L1 squared divided by R on 2 plus Rp1, then Rs2 equal to omega naught square L2 plus M the whole square divided by Ri3 plus Rb2. So where R0 is the output impedance of second loop, Ri3 is the input impedance of third loop. So with the help of the diagram, we can easily write these two terms. So assume Vb dash is the input voltage Vi. So we know Q equal to omega naught L by R. So V naught equal to I2 by V equal to I by R. So I2 divided by J omega L2. So let's consider this equation 1. Then apply the KVL. So KVL, let's apply the KVL, we can get So by applying the KVL in that diagram, we can get the equation is minus GMV1 divided by omega C1 equal to I1 Z1 plus J omega naught M I2. So then the second loop we can get 0 equal to I2 Z2 plus J omega naught M I1. So by using this circuit only, we have to apply the KVL. So in the first loop we can get this voltage equal to remaining voltage. For the second loop the input voltage is 0. So remaining term is we can write like this. So where Z1 is a RS1 plus J omega L1 plus 1 by J omega C1. Z2 is a RS2 J omega L2 plus 1 by J omega C2. So from equation 3, I1 equal to minus I2 Z2 divided by J omega naught M. So we can substitute this equation into 1 for I2 value. So minus I2 Z2 J omega M into Z1. So substitute in equation 3, right? It is minus GM V1 divided by J omega C1. I1 Z1. For I1 this value into Z1 plus second term J omega naught M I2. Substitute in equation 2, right? From that we have to find I2. So after simplification we get I2 is equal to minus GM V1 divided by J omega C1 divided by J omega naught M minus Z1 by Z2 into J omega naught M. So this is equation number 5. Now substitute this equation into 1. So equation 1 is this one, V0. So for I2 we have to substitute this value in the equation 1. So substitute I2 value, we get this one. So V0 by V1 equal to Gm by omega J square equal to minus, so minus into minus plus omega squared into C1 C2. 1 by applying LCM, we get J omega naught M minus Z1 Z2 by J omega naught M. So we know that Z1 value is RS1 plus 1 by J omega C1 plus J omega L1. Let's take RS1 is a common, so 1 plus J omega L1 by RS1 plus 1 by J omega C1 into RS1. So RS1 equal to 1 plus J by RS1 is common, J L1. So remaining term is omega minus 1 by omega L1 C1. So already we know omega naught L equal to 1 by omega naught C is equal to omega naught square equal to 1 by LC. So Z1 equal to RS1 1 plus J L1 by RS1 omega minus omega naught square equal to 1 by LC. So substitute omega naught square by omega. Then J omega naught multiply divided by omega naught. So omega naught by omega naught into L1 RS1 into omega minus omega naught square by omega. So RS1 into 1 plus J omega L1 by RS1 omega divided by omega naught minus, that is let's take omega naught is a common. So we have to take omega naught here, omega naught, okay? Wait 1 second. Here omega naught multiply and divided by omega naught value. So we'll cancel this term, we can get the same value. So from that this omega naught is get into inside. So omega by omega naught minus omega naught squared by omega into omega naught cancel. So we get omega naught by omega, right? Already we know omega minus omega naught minus omega naught by omega equal to x, and q1 equal to omega naught L1 by RS1. So Z1 equal to RS1 into 1 plus J. Omega naught L1 by RS1 is a q1, this value is x. So q1 into x, this is Z2 RS2 into 1 plus J q2 x. So Z1 Z2 is multiplication of these two terms, so like this equation. Let us take the second term of equation 6. So equation 6 is this one, right? So the second term is this one. So J omega naught M minus Z1 Z2 by J omega naught M equal to J omega naught M. Substitute Z1 Z2 value divided by J omega naught M. So this J become a, let us take LCM, okay? So J squared minus omega naught squared M squared minus RS1 R2 1 plus this term divided by whole denominator J omega naught M. So this J comes to upper, so we'll put minus J into omega naught squared M squared. Already we have a 1 minus, so minus into minus. After that we have to remove, so that this minus is this one. This minus is 1 by J become a minus J. So remaining term is same. To take RS1 RS2 is common. So J minus into minus plus J RS1 RS2 omega naught m squared divided by rs1 rs2 plus 1 plus j, the remainder omega naught m. So divided by root of rs1 rs2 numerator and denominator. So both numerator and denominator we have to divide the root of rs1 rs2. So j root of rs1 rs2 divided by this term, denominator omega naught m by this value. Okay. So where del equal to omega naught m root of divided by root of rs1 plus into rs2. So substitute that value. So we get this equation. Now substitute this equation in 6. So we have v1 equal to gm by omega squared c1 c2. That second term is this one. So substitute this value. So we have vi equal to gm by j omega squared c1 c2 into that rs1 rs2 into del divided by 1 plus j q1 q2x minus q2x squared plus del square. At resonance omega equal to omega naught, x is equal to 0. So AV resonance equal to gm by j omega squared c1 c2 rs1 rs2 del divided by x value is 0. So the remaining 1 plus del square. At cutoff frequency 3 decibel level, the gain reduces to AV 3 decibel is 1 by root 2. So 3 decibel means nothing but 0.707, which means 1 by root 2. So AV 3 decibel divided by AV resonance equal to, that is equate both AV resonance and AV 3 decibel. So 1 plus del square divided by 1 plus del square plus j q1 q2 x minus q1 q2 x squared equal to 1 by root 2. So 1 plus s squared plus j q1 q2 x minus q1 q2 x squared divided by 1 plus del square equal to root 2. That is just inverse these two equation, two sides. Then 1 plus del square divided by 1 plus del square plus j divided by this term plus third term divided by this term equal to root 2. This fourth term cancel. Assume q1 equal to q2 equal to q. So 1 plus jt x by 1 plus del square minus q square x square by 1 plus del square equal to root 2. So take LCM again. 1 plus del square plus j2 qx minus q square x square divided by 1 plus del square equal to root 2. So this term comes this side. Then 1 plus del square minus root 2 into 1 plus del square plus, that is a plus b, the a minus b the whole square formula. So a square minus b square plus 2ab. So to expand this term equal to 0. So sign change will get, remaining term is this one. So here we can't find that poles directly. So by using the formula we can get the poles like x is equal to this one. So after simplification, finally we get at omega equal to omega 1, the x1 answer is this one. Omega equal to omega 2, x2 equal to this answer. So x2 minus x1, combine both the equation in terms of minus, finally we get del omega by omega naught. So del omega equal to omega naught by q into root of square root of 2 into square root of del square minus 1. Okay, so that's all about the double tune amplifier. So effect of cascading double tune amplifier on bandwidth. The overall bandwidth of cascade double tune amplifier system is made narrower and the side stiffness of the response is increased. Okay, so already we have seen that graph, that is, this is the graph of bandwidth. So that bandwidth is narrower in double tune amplifier. The 3 decibel bandwidth of the cascade double amplifier is given by bandwidth equal to P2 into 2 power 1 by n minus 1 the whole power 1 by 4. P2 is a 3 decibel bandwidth of single stage double tune amplifier. Bn is the number of identical stages connected in a cascade. Okay, so that's all about the effect of bandwidth on a double tune amplifier.